Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how you can transfer your information over to the russet server. It's actually very, very simple. So one of the first things you're going to have to do is create a folder, preferably the folder that you already were using for all your stuff that was on DigitalOcean. Use the same folder because that's already connected to your GitHub account. No reason I'm having to redo all that. You don't have to. Alright, so my folder, I happen to call it russet_server. Yours is going to be called whatever you initially called it, CPS276 or whatever it was. I highly advise just use that folder you already have, okay? In there, you should have a PHP MySQL test folder that I gave you at the beginning of the semester. If you don't, that's okay. Just download the one that I will have attached with this video. Extract it and make sure that that is inside your russet server folder. When you're done with that, open up your VS Code and just go File, Open Folder, and just make sure to click on that whatever your folder is. Mine's russet_server. Okay. Now I've already done that, so I have this opened up here. And what we want to do is we want to actually update our VS Code folder, but we have to do one thing first. And when you come down here and you go to your extensions, if we look for search from SFTP, if you remember, this is the one I had you install before, this one by LixieMomo, or whatever it is. Okay, well, don't use that one because it won't work anymore. Okay, you need to use this other one, and you just punch in SFTP for the extensions marketplace, and it'll be the second choice. This one from Natitsi Skunk, this one right here, is what you want to install. So you just click the install button on that, and it will install it. Now, when you get there, you're going to have two of them, right? You're going to have this one, the new one, and then you might have that LixieMomo one. All you have to do is uninstall it. And the way you uninstall it, if this was the LixieMomo one that you had, you just click uninstall right there and that's it. You only want one. You only want this one. And they actually, in their instructions, they'll say right here, uninstall current SFTP extension from LixieMomo. Okay, I've tested it. The LixieMomo one will not work for Russet at all anymore, but this one works just fine, so you're going to be all set. Okay, once you've done that, then you come up here, and you already probably have a VS Code folder, that .VS Code folder, because you had it before, and you can use the exact same one. Just because you change the program, it uses the same folder, so you're all set with that. If you don't have that, then all you need to do is just go Shift-Control-P, and click on SFTP config, and it's going to create it for you. Okay, so whatever you want to do. Now, once you get this folder, make sure to open up the sftp.json file right here, and you want to put in russet server, or whatever the name doesn't matter, but the host does. It's no longer going to be an IP address. It's going to be russet.wccnet.edu, just like you see right here. SFTP will be the same. Port 22 will be the same. The username will no longer be root. It's going to be your username that you have with your WCC account. So like on your email, like my email is sshaper@wccnet.edu. Well, then that sshaper is my username. Everyone's is unique. So grab your Washtenaw username. That's what you're going to need here. Now this remote path is a little tricky well, it's not really tricky. It's just a little different to find out. So let me show you how to do this. So what you need to do is open up, say, your PowerShell like we did before, and I'm going to go ahead and I'll log out so I can show you the whole process. All right, so if I'm sitting here, what I want to do is I want to write SSH, my username for Washtenaw, must be my Washtenaw username, at russet.wccnet.edu. Okay, no more IP addresses, just russet.wccnet.edu. You click enter. Now, it may ask you something in here about, do you want to have the, I think they call it the finger identification, whatever. Just click yes or enter yes, and then hit the enter button. That's all you got to do. And then for your password, this is very important. It's your WCC password, the one you use for your WCC email, the one you use for Blackboard. That's the one you have to use here. Okay, so you go ahead and enter that. Remember, it's all case sensitive. And once you get into there, basically it's going to take you to what's known as your home directory. So Shaper at Russet, and that's my home directory. So you no longer are going to have access to the entire server like you did before. All you have access to is basically your home directory. Okay, so that's one of the differences. Now, if you enter the command pwd and click enter. So if you type pwd, click enter, you're going to get this path right here. And you want to basically, you want to copy that. So just highlight it like this, and I just do Control C to copy it. Go back over to your VS Code, and I'll write the whole thing for you. So I'll just erase this. And you paste that in. That's going to give you your server remote path right there. And the only thing you want to add to that is /public_HTML. Public_HTML is the folder that we're going to be putting all our files, folders and files in that we want to be seen through the browser. So before we were using /var www HTML. No longer doing that. We're doing a remote path like this. And yours is going to be, usually it's the first two characters of your username. So mine's SS. And so it's usually under home, S, and then S, and shaper. But don't try to look for it. Just do the PWD trick, and it's going to show you what that directory is. And then just add public_HTML. You must have this, or nothing's going to be seen from the browser. And it's not going to work. So once you've done that, go ahead and save that file. You already have the MySQL PHP MySQL tests folder right here. Okay, and what you need to do is right-click and click Upload Folder, and then you put in your password, and it'll take a few seconds to be there. Now I jump over to PowerShell, and what we need to do is we need to see if it's there. So if I do ls-l, sure enough, my public_HTML directory was created for me because that was the path that I put in on my VS Code. So that was automatically done. And then if I go into that, so if I go cd public, so cd is for change directory, public_HTML, and then another ls-l, you can see sure enough there's my PHP MySQL test. So that's all working. Now the only thing that we have left to do is we just have to add our database information. That's all we have to do. Now, if you downloaded the PHP MySQL test folder from where this video is located, then it's already been updated for you. But if you haven't, there's one thing that you have to update. Okay, go into PHP MySQL test, click on SQL right here, click Create SQL, and you see where it has these lines, these three lines right here, drop database, create database, use PHP MySQL test. If those are there, just delete them and make create table be the very first line. Go ahead and save that file, and it will automatically upload it to the server and put it in the right spot. If not, you can always just right-click and upload it here. Okay. Okay, so back over into your PowerShell here, what we want to do is we want to go to where that file is. And so you just go cd for change directory, enter PHP MySQL test, and then the SQL folder. And when we do that, it's going to put us into our SQL folder. And if you do ls-l here, you can see there's the create SQL file right there. Now, if you want to check it real quick, one thing that you can do is you can go cat create SQL and just make sure that you don't have those three lines above there. Remember I told you to take out? It should look just something like this. Okay, so I'm going to go bottom of my screen. I'm going to write clear, and that just takes me to the top, makes it a little easier to read. Now to put this into MySQL is actually very easy, because right now if you want to access your MySQL database, you just do MySQL, hit enter, and that's it. And it's going to say MariaDB. It's because we're technically using a MariaDB instead of a MySQL database. Don't worry about it. All the SQL commands, everything's the same. Okay, so that's how easy it is. Once you do that, it automatically takes you in. Now, one thing you need to understand, if I do show databases, just so you understand what's happening, you no longer have the ability to create databases or anything like that. You're probably going to have an information schema one. Leave that alone. You should have another database in there that's going to be your WCC username. I don't think you're going to have a test_DB, but you might. If you do, just ignore it. So you can see that when it puts it in these brackets, it's basically saying you're already using this one. So you don't even need to write use or anything. It automatically puts you into this one. Now what I found is you don't have the capability to add new databases. That's what I found. Okay, so you can't create another one. But that's okay. You don't need to. Just put some tables into this one is all I need to do. To do that, to add the table that you need here, It's really simple to do. So I'm going to do CLAR, clear my screen again. Now you just do MySQL. You do a less than arrow, and then the create SQL file. That's all you need to do right there. And if you do that, it just did it. It just took whatever was in this file, it created that table and populated it. So now what you do is we can log into our database again, and we can do show tables, and sure enough, there it is. Okay, that's the table that we just did. If you want to check everything, you could just do select star from customer. Oh. And there's the information right there. Okay. Now, to get out of the database, you just enter the word exit, and that takes you out of it. Okay, so let me clear my screen. And you can see I'm back at my russet right here. All right. Now, what we have to do, one more thing that we need to change, and it's right here under classes, DB connection. And it's this file right here. Now, what we need to do is we need to change this information. And the way you get that information is, because basically what you need is this password. Now, I have mine gloomed out on you right now, but that's where you're going to be entering your password. So, what you do is you come over to here and do ls-la. And when you do that, let me get in. Sorry, you need to get in the home directory first. Okay, to get to the home directory, you go cd tilde, and then do ls-la, and you're going to see a file here called .mycnf right there. If you go cat.my.cnf, just like that, there is your all your database stuff, including your password, which is right there. Okay, I have mine gloomed out, but that's what you'll see because you must have a password. So when you go over here, all you do is you just put that information here. So your host is going to be localhost. Your database name will be your username because there's only one database. And your database user is going to be your username as well. And then the password is going to be whatever password they gave you. Once you do that information right there, and you upload that file to the server, okay, so again, once you save it, it should upload automatically. You can always right-click and do upload. Once you've done all those steps, you go to the browser. Here's how you can access that information. I did it, and I'll take this way so you can see it again. You go russet.wccnet.edu / shaper, or whatever you're using. So yours won't be shaper. Yours is going to be your username. And then PHP MySQL test. And that's where you're going to be. You should see that screen. You see that screen right there? That means you've got everything set up. Everything's set up correctly. If you don't have that screen, if you're having error problems, and you need to go back through this video and walk through the steps again, okay, and make sure you got everything working, or you're going to come to me in my office hours and I can help get you through it. But it's really not that difficult. But please do use the same folder that you initially had, because that has all the GitHub stuff set up. So that way you don't have to redo any of that. Okay, that's it.